Good evening and welcome to our June 9th, 2025 study session. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Clerk, please take the roll.
Mayor Hartke,
Here.
Vice Mayor Ellis,
Here.
Councilmember Encinas,
Here.
Councilmember Poston,
Here.
Councilmember Orlando,
Here.
Harris,
Here.
Councilmember Hawkins.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you so much. For our scheduled public appearances, I'd like to invite Councilmember Harris to join me up front. City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of City Council. We do have 5 employee service recognitions this evening. And for the first, I'd like to call up our Communications and Public Affairs Director, Matt Burdick.
Good evening. I asked Stephanie Romero to come forward for her 10-year service award. It's a great pleasure.
The twins are here.
Yeah. It's a great pleasure to recognize Stephanie for her outstanding contributions as a public information officer. Stephanie is a highly coveted member of our team with outstanding relationships with the news media and community. Her experience and insight shaped the communications, marketing, and publicity provided for multiple city departments, including the Chandler Airport, City Clerk, DEI, Development Services, Economic Development, Municipal Court, and Neighborhood Resources. You can tell Stephanie's quite busy. She elevates the quality and effectiveness of communication materials and programs produced for the city. She takes personal ownership to represent Chandler and ensure departments successfully communicate and fulfill their goals and objectives. Thank you, Stephanie, for 10 years of service to Chandler and for the outstanding work that you produce day in and day out.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
You're welcome. Mr. Mayor, members of council, for our second service recognition, I'd like to call up Jeremy Abbott, our Assistant Public Works Manager.
Yes, thank you. Today, I'd like to call James Krakawa down. Today, James is celebrating 10 years. So Public Works and Utilities, we're thrilled to recognize James and celebrate his remarkable milestone. James has completed 10 years of dedicated service with the City of Chandler and specifically with Public Works and Utilities at the Airport Water Reclamation Facility. Part of our wastewater team, James has exemplified professionalism, commitment, and a strong work ethic that has significantly contributed to our team's success over this past decade. His in-depth knowledge of city utilities and infrastructure, meticulous attention to detail, and dedication to data accuracy have made him a trusted and valued team member. James' input has been instrumental in many projects, including the design, construction, and most recently, the startup of the new reclaimed water interconnect facility, showcasing his ability to make a lasting impact. James is a rare operator. He is one of only 245 operators currently in the state of Arizona that we refer to as a 4x4, and that's not a truck. What this means is James holds a grade 4, the highest grade possible in all operator areas: wastewater collections, water distribution, water treatment, and wastewater treatment, making him a 4x4 operator. So please join us in congratulating James. on his impressive achievement. We're incredibly grateful for your continued dedication and look forward to celebrating many milestones with you. Thank you, James.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, for our third employee service recognition, I'd like to call forward Melissa Deanda, our Assistant Chief of Police.
Good evening, everyone. If I can have Cynthia Blake come down, please. She's being recognized for 20 years of service. And while Cynthia's coming down, I also just want to recognize her husband, Matt, is here to celebrate her as well. Cynthia has dedicated 20 years of exceptional service to the Chandler Police Department, beginning her career as a records specialist and rising through the ranks to become a valued supervisor in the Police Department Information Technology Division. Her journey reflects the unwavering commitment, adaptability, and passion for public service. In records, Cynthia was known for her meticulous attention to detail and a deep understanding of police documentation procedures. Transitioning into the PDIT team, she brought that same level of dedication to supporting the department's evolving technology needs. As a supervisor, Cynthia has been instrumental in leading systems transitions, enhancing technical workflows, and mentoring new team members. Her leadership, collaborative spirit have helped modernize internal processes to ensure the department remains at the forefront of law enforcement technology. We thank you, Cynthia, for your integrity, professionalism, and 2 decades of outstanding service to the Chandler Police Department and our community. Congratulations.
Mayor and council, for our next service recognition, I'd like to call up Kim Moyers, our Cultural Development Director.
Good evening. I'd like to call up Bill Lawrence for his 25 years of service to Chandler. Bill has been a cornerstone for the Center for the Arts, bringing not only technical passion as a lighting coordinator and designer, but also a steadfast commitment to bring quality arts to our patrons. His design and creativity have illuminated countless concerts, creating memorable shows on our stage. Bill's eye for detail and understanding of how light shapes the mood and story is seen by the impact of the lighting, how the lighting brings to the wide variety of dance shows, and recently the musicals Wizard of Oz and Little Women. Bill's creative efforts are also seen outside of work. If anyone needs some inspiration during the Christmas time, just drive by Bill's house and you'll see one of the best decorated homes around. Bill is always willing to lend a hand, share his knowledge, and give excellent customer service to the clientele and performers. His deep connection to the Chandler community and unwavering support for the arts has made a lasting impact to all who know him. He's shown a great commitment, working long nights and long hours, and we recognize and thank his family, whose understanding and support has been essential for him. Today, we celebrate not only his professional achievements, but the passion and dedication that have shaped his 25 incredible years of service. Thank you, Bill.
Mayor and council, for our final service recognition this evening, I'd like to call forward John Sefton, our Community Services Director.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. What an honor it is every time to come up here and to partake in the Chandler tradition of recognizing our civil servants. So thank you very much. Allow me to welcome to center stage, Michelle Welch. As a reference librarian, Michelle has been a constant source of knowledge, support, and inspiration for 25 years. Known for her even keel and calm demeanor, Michelle brings a steadiness that is deeply appreciated. Saying that Michelle has patience is like saying Chandler gets a little toasty in August, a true epic understatement. Her patience is unmatched and appears to be endless. An impressively skilled communicator, she exemplifies clarity and precision in every interaction, delivering excellent customer service with kindness and professionalism. With remarkable time management and a flexible approach to ever-changing needs of the library, Michelle consistently learns new skills and brings on new ideas and takes on new roles. Her colleagues are grateful for her flexibility, expertise, heart, and dedication as she brings to the team every single day. And if you're not already sufficiently impressed, she's also a published author. Searchable for sure. Michelle, you're a jewel in Chandler's Public Library crown, and we appreciate you so much. Congratulations on the quarter century of service to Chandler.
Yes, sir. Hold on. Hold on.
Mayor and council, that concludes our service recognitions this evening. Thank you.
All right, our next scheduled appearance is Brooke Beal to talk about the Consolidated Canal. Mr. Beal, you have up to 3 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record.
Yes, my name is Brooke Beal, 85 West Teakwood Place here in Chandler. And tonight I'd like to talk about the crime spree on Consolidated Canal in Chandler, Arizona. Now, you may wonder what a crime spree is. My definition is that it's, over 400 events in the past couple of years by the same 10 or 12 people every day, pretty much every day, every week, every month, past 2 years. So that is my definition of a crime spree. This is an email that was sent from SRP, the person who is responsible for the canal. It was sent to Mayor Hartke and the City Council on 9/24. I forwarded this. It was originally sent to the Parks and Recreation Director and to the Police Department, Lieutenant in the Police Department. Now, I apologize for the eye chart there. That's really not readable. But basically, what Brianna has said there is because the Bureau of Reclamation Regional Director has not expressly determined that e-bikes should be treated the same as non-motorized bicycles, their use along the SRP canal continues to be prohibited. Same restrictions apply to e-scooters. So e-bikes are prohibited, period, end of story. There's no qualification there, not allowed. This is Arizona Revised Statute 28819. In there, the Arizona legislature has given you 7 people the right to have a jurisdiction over bicycles or multi-use paths to prohibit the operation of a Class 1 bicycle or a Class 2 bicycle. Class 3 are prohibited on multi-use paths. So with that authorization, Chandler Municipal Government back in somewhere between 99 and 2012 came up with ordinance 316C. And that basically says motor assisted vehicles, including but not limited to, there you go, motor assisted. Can't say anything more about an e-bike than motor assisted. So not allowed on the canal. Not allowed on Chandler property, in fact. So these are some of the signs that are posted on the Consolidated Canal by the city of Chandler and by SRP. Upper right says this is not allowed, it's federal offense. Sign down below it says 316C, and on the left it explains that that's the Paseo Trail. And finally here we have Chandler Police Department sign saying e-bikes are prohibited.
Thank you, Mr. Beal.
Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Orlando.
Yeah. City, I know we've talked about this staff several times. Can we, I don't know where these ordinances or these things are coming from, the definition. And I know that we've had patrols out there. I know we've had signs out there. Is there anything else we could be doing to identify e-bikes, specifically saying no e-bikes? I mean, maybe that's part of the conversation. Can we put a bicycle lane out there so that pedestrians could have a safe path? There must be something we could do to address this. And I'm sure other cities are having the same issue, or maybe not having the same issue. So can we do some more due diligence on this? Because I know he wants to spend other Mondays and Thursday nights and not have to deal with e-bites and coming out here telling us that there's different laws and rules and regulations and chapters and verses that he believes we're not following. Whether we are or not, that's a different story. So can we look into this and come back within 30 days, a plan or an idea that this council could look at, that we could address this issue?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Orlando, you're correct. We have done some targeted patrols out there. We've actually stopped and trespassed about 8 individuals already since last October 1st. And we have added some signage as well as more frequent presence out on the canal. We can certainly explore some of the other ideas you mentioned about a bike lane or other physical improvements and come back to you with some ideas.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Vice Mayor.
If I may, I received a text, I believe, from Ms. Alexis concerning all the things that we have been doing over there on the canal. Is there a way that we can read all of those so that the public knows that things are being done on a daily basis, whether through the police or whatever it is that we are doing? It's very consistent with every single day that we are there. How many police around that's being done? Can we read all of those to put them into the record, please?
Sure, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, certainly can read the most recent information that we have available from the police department for you.
Yes, please.
So in fall of 24, after we made aware of this issue, we had one of our police teams in that part of town set up a pop-up tent along the canal for several hours to educate riders about motorized vehicles and e-bikes along the canal. We've also set up traffic trailers this spring at various points along the canal with educational messages. And we have developed a refreshed relationship with SRP as well to develop cohesive messaging with our communications department about the prohibition of certain types of vehicles on the canal. As I mentioned, we've done 8 traffic stops of vehicles that were operating illegally on the canal. And we did trespass those 8 individuals as well. They were all juveniles on electric motorcycles or dirt bikes. And again, we've had about 126 calls on this since that time, but generally from one party. Almost all of them are from the same party. So we have been actively working on enforcement, education. We've done some work again with CAPA on our messaging out through social media and other channels as well. And we will continue to have a police presence out there to enforce the law.
Thank you. Mayor, if I may, you said there was 124 calls. And based on my text, it says that there was 126 calls. 124 of those calls came from Mr. Bill. And then staff also is working on PSA campaigns and all kinds of, PD has posted multiple portables. They come and go. I see 40 to 50 patrol a week around that. So when we say that, what else can we do? Where do we want to go with that? I'm just going to leave you with that.
Mayor, question.
Councilmember Orlando.
I don't, look, I don't want to get into the details. I think the concern is safety. You have people walking, you have people with their kids, strollers, and you have a e-bike. I think that's the concern. I would have too, whether it's 100 calls he made or two. I think that's the underlying issue here is safety. People need to feel safe that they're walking on this path. So maybe there are other things we could do. Maybe delineate that. I've seen where you put a bike path right next to it. Maybe that's a smart move where you could put, I mean, even in our gym, our Chandler, our Tumbleweed Rec Center, we have a path for the runners and the path for the walkers. That's a safety issue. And I think that's what really the core of this problem is that people feel safe on those paths. That's all.
Mayor, may I? Do I have permission
Mayor.
to ask the chief of police to come down here right now, since we are having discussion about this? May I? If chief can come down and tell me that that area is not safe.
I mean, for pedestrians, not for people in general, for pedestrians.
Because that's not too far from where I live. And so I need to know because I live in that area. I need to know whether I'm safe or not when I go walk in there. Because, I'm not. Chief, can you please tell me, based on the patrol, the 40 to 50, and all the visibility that you have in that area, how safe is that area for the pedestrians that are walking there?
Through the mayor, Vice Mayor Ellis, safety is a perspective. I can just say we've had no injury accidents as a result of anything on the canal. We have tried to increase our presence, but I do like to say broadly, we're talking about the canal when we're also talking about all the city streets that we're responsible for in the city. So we talk about speeding, aggressive driving, impaired driving, those sorts of things, those rate, if I'm honest, a little bit higher priority than the canal. Not to say that it's not important, but we're trying to be strategic about the deployment of our resources. And we're trying to use education, not enforcement, as a way to mitigate some of those issues along the canal. Certainly, we can always increase our visibility, but I would just say that is a long stretch of a canal bank that we're responsible for. I would say the e-bike issue is one that is relatively new in the last couple of years. Most people have enjoyed the canal bank for a variety of their exercise needs without any significant issues out there. So I am sensitive certainly to the complaints that we get from there. But when it comes to resource allocation and demonstrated need in the city, it's a deployment position that we get into all the time. So we are committed to proactively addressing it through increased patrols. But I will just say, and everybody knows this, we can't be everywhere all the time. And we do our very best with what we have.
Now, it's true that we could get citizen, watch or a group that will really be interested in that to just camp over there and keep watching and help to keep that area safer if they feel that it's not. And I think at this time we could put the plea out to the public and say, hey, we're having a problem down there. Will citizen would love to put their hats on and take a walk. And if they see any kids on a bike, e-bike, just call the police or tell them to get off the I mean, it's all of us making it safe for all of us. I think that's where I am right now. So I appreciate you letting me know that I'm living a safe city and that lane, that trail is pretty safe for pedestrian. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Manager, you heard all the presentation and then also the suggestions that are made. So please do as you're instructed.
Next is our consent agenda and item number 4, master energy agreement, new solar installations. If Stephen Turner can come up and talk about our sustainability and performance. This has been called in by Councilmember Orlando.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, members of council, thank you for allowing me to be here tonight to speak about our Master Energy Services Agreement with Amoresco, an agreement with the City of Chandler. Just a brief background, back in 2023, council at that time added sustainability and technology to our strategic framework. And it was that decision that underscored the city's commitment to smart energy solutions aimed at reducing costs and enhancing environmental resilience. So a little bit of background about why we're here today. In early 2024, we completed a feasibility study, and during that time, we analyzed 25 different sites, and we found 23 different sites at city facilities were found as feasible options to be used as solar arrays. This proposed system is roughly 9 megawatts in size, and at those 23 different sites, it is proposed to offset about 50+% of the energy uses there. The total project cost is a little over $34 million, and we will be receiving in the second year $8.3 million from the Inflation Reduction Act as part of the investment tax credit. It is a 20-year agreement, and after savings, after the agreement, after 20 years, we will receive approximately $42 million, and after 25 years, roughly $53 million. General fund will receive 30% of the savings, and utility funds will receive about 70% of the savings, and I'll get into that reason here now. A large portion of these solar panels will be placed at our 3 biggest energy consumers. Our biggest one, Airport Water Reclamation Facility, is by far our largest energy user in the city, and we'll be placing close to 4 megawatts of power there at AWRF. And then we'll also have it at Ocotillo Water Reclamation Facility and our Pecos Surface Water Treatment Facility. The remaining of the solar sites will be located at different admin buildings, City Hall being one of them, fire admin, and several different buildings throughout the city. The fire stations, it is fire stations 1 through 3 and 5 through 11. We chose not to do fire station 4 because that is due for replacement for a tear down and reconstruction here in a few years, according to our CIP. And then next steps, we are working to complete the individual work orders for each individual site. And then at that point in time, we'll have what our guaranteed savings amount is. And all of that savings in the final work orders will be guaranteed. And that includes potential rate increases from APS and SRP. It also includes adding in the degradation potential from the solar panels being installed. Installation will take roughly 1 year, although some of the sites may come online sooner. And with that, be open to any questions.
Councilmember Orlando.
So what's the annual savings roughly a year?
A little over $2 million, and we'll be experiencing that right at the very beginning. So we will own these sites ourselves. This is not a solar service agreement where it's a third party owning it. We will be owning these sites and we'll be benefiting from the savings starting year 1.
So potentially being 70% being put back into wastewater, is that what it was? Or wait, I'm sorry.
Yeah, back into water and wastewater.
Water,
60% will go to wastewater and 10% to.
So potentially this could have an impact on the rates, and potentially reducing the rates because that overhead cost or that variable cost is being captured by the solar.
Yeah, we are working to do everything we can in-house to make sure that we absorb all costs before we go to our residents asking for a rate increase.
That's perfect. You know, Chandler was one of the first cities to do this. I don't remember how many years ago. And we're still leading. I don't know if any other city is putting their entire city on some kind of a grid like this, a solar saving. So kudos to folks behind this and making this happen.
Yeah, thank you. I do know it is one of the largest, if not the largest array being put together by a single city in the state.
So it's another thing where we save on ongoing expenses by putting one-time dollars into a particular project, which is something that we've been looking for. So let's get this moving, Steve. You're not done yet.
Any additional questions, comments for Mr. Turner?
Nope.
Yeah. Stephen, thank you for bringing this to us. That has been a priority of ours, is continue to see how we can take our one-times and lower tomorrow. So appreciate, it's taken us a long time to get here with this particular project, but appreciate your work on that. Item number 8, downtown alley improvements. Kim Moyers.
Mayor, Council, the downtown alley improvement project is located between Commonwealth and Boston Street and California and San Marcos Alley and is lovingly referred to as Hallway after the late Elliott Hall. As development has continued to the west with DC Heights, Hidden House, the Stanley, and Maple House, there's been an increase in pedestrian and vehicular traffic in this area, specifically the alley. This project will improve safety with additional lighting and will include surface improvements such as stamped asphalt, valley gutters, and a change to one-way circulation and new signage. No other utility work is anticipated. We've reached out to the affected property owners as well as the downtown community through the DCCP stakeholder meetings. As we have historically done in the past, this project is scheduled to begin during the summer months to reduce the impact to our downtown businesses. We anticipate construction to begin next month and it should be completed by September. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Councilmember Orlando.
Thanks, Mayor. Kim, thank you again. It's just a myriad of projects you're bringing forward to downtown. Do we have more of these coming up?
Through the mayor, Councilmember Orlando, we're always looking at projects to increase safety, visibility in the downtown. We know that that's the primary thing that's important for people to continue to come down. So as we find these projects and ways that we can make our residents feel a little safer, we'll keep bringing them forward. So.
Yeah, and Kim, we talked about this before, and hopefully you're still working with the downtowners on the trash issue. Because I know you want to make an alley, we're spending this money on an alleyway, and yet in the middle of 110 degrees, 105 degrees, whatever the case may be, I'm sure the smell is not enticing.
Yeah, through the mayor, Councilmember Orlando, we have been able to, through several of our different alley projects, we've been able to incorporate trash co-ops, and those have been very successful. That's not part of this project because we do not have any city-owned property along that area, but they have been able to secure their trash on their own property, which really minimizes some of the trash in that area.
Good, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Additional questions or comments for Kim? All right, thank you, Kim. Item number 10, Economic Vitality Report. Micah Miranda.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Excited to bring this project before you. So several months back, we presented on challenges that staff is forecasting into the future and ideas to go forward. And one of those was a research paper engaging ASU in a 20-year vision project, similar to what we did about 17 years ago. So on the agenda tonight is a contract to engage with ASU's W.L. Seidman Research Institute to begin exploring how Chandler can prepare itself for the future, looking at a host of different issues we know we're facing, and provide recommendations for the city to consider as we chart a 20-year path forward. So happy to answer any questions you may have.
Vice Mayor Ellis.
Thank you, Mayor. Micah, thank you for I told you to keep it quick and keep it precise. And my question at this point is that once we get this white paper, what is it that it's going to do for us? I know you said, helping us look into the future, where we're going to go, but strategically thinking, where in the city will we be applying these things tangibly?
Through the mayor, Vice Mayor Ellis, I don't know. I don't have the answers for that right now. A lot of that's going to be based upon the research, the analysis, and the work with the community that ASU does. When we started discussing with them, we didn't want to impart our preconceived notions of what our challenges will be. We really wanted to take a step back. Oftentimes we're so deep in the weeds at the micro level, we kind of lose focus on the macro objective. So we really putting this on ASU to work with the community, our business leaders, and the city council to provide some good direction. So part of the study, they're being tasked with providing specific recommendations within about half dozen areas that are really going to challenge us as we head into the future. So without doing the analysis first, I can't put the cart before the horse, but I can say we really do want to look at those things that will enable Chandler's continued economic vitality.
So would you say that this is a great investment for us at this time? not having the crystal ball and everything, but do have the evidence-based research that is proven, that we'll be able to take this and run with it.
Yeah, through the mayor, Councilmember Ellis, I would definitely agree with that. This is something, like I said, that the city did 2 decades ago, and a lot of those recommendations the city incorporated wisely into some of our municipal planning efforts, not just the planning division, but overall planning of the city. And it's paid dividends that we are reaping now. So we're really looking to use this study to continue our success.
Thank you, Micah. Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor. Councilmember Poston.
Thank you, Mayor. Micah, if I remember, there was one called The Next 20. And wasn't there another one about a shoe, like waiting for the next shoe to drop, kind of? The name was just not as good, I remember. But I'm wondering if you could share those with council so that we can maybe take a look. I think that would be really helpful to take a look at what this study did before and the accomplishments and where we went from there and what we incorporated. Because I think that might give us an idea of what we can look to the future. I do remember having that being very valuable information, and maybe a look at our city in a way that the Economic Development Division at the time hadn't considered before. And I remember it being pretty valuable, and I think that would be helpful for us if you could find those for us.
Yeah, through the mayor, Councilmember Poston. The first study you mentioned was a city commission study, the 20-year study. The 5 shoes waiting to drop study was actually commissioned, I want to say, in like 2001.
Okay,
As a
well,
state,
gosh, stop telling people how old I am, but
it's one of my favorite reports. I still have it on my desk, so I'm happy to share
well,
it.
that's good to know.
And they're both really great documents. We have those, and we can share those with you. And maybe that gets
Or-
to Vice Mayor Ellis's question a little bit more. There are certain things in there that we're looking for ASU to evaluate, but without preconceived notions on what those outcomes would be.
Or Micah, even if there are just some highlights that you think would be helpful for us, rather than giving us decades old
Doc,
studies
I
to
would
read.
say read it all.
Me, bullet points.
Absolutely, we can get those to you.
Councilmember Orlando.
Thank you. Yeah, Mike, I was here when we did the 2020 or the 20 years out. And one of the recommendations was to preserve the Price Road corridor. One of the recommendations was to expand the airport, and they gave us some ideas. And one of the recommendations at that time, 20 years ago, they said Chandler start planning for affordable housing. So there was some visionary work on that ton. I think we did pretty well on most of those things. Maybe the affordable housing we're picking up now, but it was a good look into the 20 years. And then, like any plan, you have to look at it and say what resources we need to put to that plan to make it successful. So that's the value of this thing. It'll tell us what it looks 20 years from now. It's worked. And then what we can do for resources in order to ensure that we do reach that vision.
Yeah, through the mayor, Councilmember Orlando, you're absolutely right. That report was a very strategic guiding document that the city really absorbed and leaned into. And then executing, we're going to have to come forward with some probably budgetary requirements once the document is finalized and presented to city council and get your feedback on where you want us to go. So we do anticipate resourcing to be an issue that it's going to come later. Part of the tangibles in different parts of the report is the Thunderbird School of Business. Part of their task is to identify FDI markets. How do we do it? Marketing techniques, budgets to put behind it. So that component is very much part of the plan.
Additional questions or comments? Councilmember Poston.
Apologize, I probably should have pointed this out earlier, just to thank you and congratulate you for the creative way that you funded this through the IDA funding. I think we don't look at that often enough and get creative in ways that's funding sitting there. So thank you for doing that, and congratulations for finding a way to make this happen that is already funded for us.
You got a money tree.
Yeah.
I appreciate the kind words. I can't take credit for that. I really got to give the budget staff and the executive staff a lot of credit. When we submit those decision packages, they're always looking for other ways to fund it. So, but I'll take it. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Micah.
Thank you.
Our last item called in is item number 20, City Charter Amendment Resident Advisory Committee. Calling up Ryan Peters, Strategic Initiatives Director. And Councilmember Poston, as Ryan is following up on that, one of our other items on here is a road improvement. Ryan and Sheree have been quite nimble, agile, and effective in terms of grabbing when MAG puts out a call for some funds. And this was one of those projects that, much to the chagrin of particularly West Valley cities, we do a very good job of self-identifying good projects and putting together a good case. And commending Ryan on that.
Thank you, Mayor. I meet with them ahead of time for my MAG meeting, and their information, along with Jason Crampton, we got to give him credit too, is outstanding.
Yeah.
So we appreciate all of the work that you do before those meetings and saving us some money.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, Councilmember Post. And you beat me to the punch. I want to ensure that Jason gets credit as well, because the team is really works really complementary with John Knudsen and John McFarland and the whole staff over at Public Works and Utilities on these type of items to make sure that we have a really competitive grant. And obviously we ended up being successful. So thank you to everyone involved.
Yeah.
The
Item number 20.
Item 20, yes, Mayor. So before you tonight is the Citizens Charter Review Committee. And upon voting on Thursday night, it'll be formally effective within 30 days. And we'll meet with the committee members will you also have an opportunity to vote on Thursday, and figure out a meeting schedule. And the work should kick off late July, early August. And we expect to meet over the course of the fall and winter time, with the expectation to have to City Council before a February meeting the recommendations of the committee. And obviously there'll be opportunities to visit with the council and the citizens along the way. But in order to meet the county's deadlines on when we need to submit ballot language to them, it's a February meeting for a call of the election, and then a March meeting for the actual ballot language itself. And with that, we're excited for the opportunity to look at the charter in depth and see where there's opportunities to modernize it per the council vision and expectation that we do with this charter. And make recommendations to the citizens, ultimately, who will decide whether or not they want to amend the charter with the various questions.
Thank you. Councilmember Lander, you called this in.
No, that was my question, the timelines. I just wanted to do those publicly, make sure folks understand that we're going to need to some due diligence here. And obviously it'll be open to the public. So
yes, Mayor, Councilmember Orlando, that is correct. These are public meetings. It's a public body formed by this council.
So we have a set items for them to look at, or you just want them to look at the entire charter? What are your thoughts on that?
Mayor, Councilmember Orlando, we have performed an exercise. A city attorney and city clerk and I have visited over the course of the last year to look for opportunities where there might be room to modernize the charter, make things more clear. So we will certainly present those findings to the Charter Review Committee to see if they make sense to them as well. And then should there be any ideas from the committee itself or the public for additional improvements, we would entertain that and get the committee's recommendation on whether they want to pursue that or, back off depending on the item.
And obviously you'll take citizen input on thoughts of the charter as well. Is there some areas we want to look at?
Mayor, Councilmember Orlando, that is correct. That's the Chandler way, as we take citizen input. And this is a body that gives the opportunity for more contributions.
Excellent. Thank you, Mayor.
And then, did you say that the date on this was August then? That we're potentially looking at in terms of bringing this to the ballot, but with those earlier dates mentioned?
So, Mayor, that is correct. Should we opt for a primary August election, that would be the February and March dates. Should, for strategic reasons or whatever the Charter Committee determines is best to set us up for success, then we could look at a November election. We could potentially have a crowded election season next year with our own local issues. I know we have an APS franchise. We have, I think, potentially home rule, and then a variety of other topics that the legislature might come up with to put on that ballot. So, we want to ensure that our charter has the best opportunities to succeed with these various questions, in addition to the general plan work that just kicked off. So, should the Charter Review Committee opt to kick it to the November election, and if council agree with that recommendation, then we would need to have the work concluded, or at least the call, by May, and then the work concluded with the ballot language by June of next year.
Okay. And there's really no earlier option. Obviously, we would have to pay for that separately, but just in terms of the timing, we really are looking at August or November as the most viable two in front of us, correct?
Mayor, that is correct. I would have to defer to the city clerk on what timing would be for a spring election. I don't have that information in front of me, but that would certainly compress all the work that this Charter Review Committee would have to do over the next coming weeks.
I think is it 5 months in advance, City Clerk?
Call the election 180 days, and then the ballot language is 5 months, yes. So 150 days for the ballot language.
Okay, yeah, so we'd have to have completed this really by October and then November for the language in order to get it out there for March, which would be a lifting term. Okay, any additional questions on this?
Mayor,
Councilmember Harris.
I know that we talked about a lot. I'm okay with just kind of getting the name solidified. I don't know how far or okay I am with doing anything as it relates to putting anything on an election right away, because I just kind of think that we may not have the type of timelines that I think could be appropriate for the charter language, considering that there's a candidates election coming up. That would be one thing, but more importantly, just thinking about the overall, how much time do we want them to spend? Because now we'll be condensing the time faster. So, hey, we put this together. Now we're going to make them work as quickly as possible. And that charter is rather long, very, very long, hundreds and hundreds of pages of language that I would probably want them to skim through. So I don't know how fast we're going to be working or lightning speed. So I just kind of have some just initial concerns. I mean, I'm sure we can work through some of the initial concerns, but I just kind of wanted to make sure that with the initial concerns that we're going through hundreds of pages of documents, and I just don't want the committee to rush the process. I want them to be thoughtful and careful. So I don't want us. I just kind of feel like the minute we start talking about election, this, and this, we're hurry up and putting the cart before the horse. And I want to make sure that this body of work is thoughtful. That's kind of where I want to land with that. So I just want to make sure that's done first. So thanks, Mayor.
Take your time. Okay.
Take your
Thank
time.
you. Comments noted. Any additional comments or questions? All right, that concludes the items called in. Council, we're going to resume in our exec session. Let's get back there in 5.